to ask, how's that going? I know it's a good sign that you're on with us. I just hope you're able to.
So I got to rebuild my computer from absolutely nothing.
Wow.
I wouldn't know how to do that except take it down to the store and say, give me a fucking new one.
I didn't know how to do it either. I just looked it up on YouTube and was like, oh, there's a screw. There's another one. I know what that is and what that does. Let's hope I don't screw anything up.
You have bad RAM or something? Or what?
No, so basically there was a corrupted power surge that went through my laptop.
Okay.
And so I had to discharge the battery to reset everything. But the issue is the battery is built into the laptop. So I had to take everything out to get to the battery.
Oh, wild.
Oddly enough, that's one thing I know how to do. But on the Mac, you just pop it off the back.
That's how most laptops work. This one is embedded underneath the motherboard.
Power strip. Tell your friends. All right. OTNG Season 2, Episode 12. We are live. Tonight we have Ethan, who is the mechanical boy wonder. Nils, Nils and Peter.
Nils, the looming giant.
I can't think of any clever. Maybe that doesn't bode well for tonight. Nils, are you all caught up from last week from the YouTube, or do you need a...
Yeah, one comment. You guys should have waited for me with the snakes, because obviously I have no face and no eyes, so therefore I would not have been hypnotized.
Oh, there are many things I missed you on, man. Really, the whole time I'm like, oh man, we need Nils for this. Except the mushrooms, which I thought we really need Mike, because he would have eaten it and disappeared.
He would have
we all would have gone, oh shit, and had just followed him.
That would have been interesting, because without a face, Boobs couldn't have eaten the mushrooms.
No, but then we would have learned by him sitting there. Well, he can digest matter, right? He has to run on something.
That's a good question.
What does?
He just runs. He runs on tension. That's why you have to wind him every so often. He doesn't have coal or anything else. Of course, he's a clockwork. He is totally green. It's like a negative carbon footprint, man.
Yeah.
But then we would have understood that, because I am guessing right now, but I have a feeling if we just stay in one place long enough, we will shift automatically in those rooms.
I think so. I think you are right.
And now that we're all together, we should all stick together.
That is what happened in the mushroom room. You were taken out of that space after a period of time.
Yeah, I think each of these rooms has a way of teleporting us to somewhere.
Yeah, and they're never pleasant, are they?
Not usually. Though, I mean, Morgan did enjoy falling asleep. That was quite comfortable.
So, see, the heroes are...
She got all her spell slots back.
Are stepping out of... Right, that long rest. Not quite, but that was nice. Good.
It felt like a long rest, but it wasn't really a long rest.
Yeah. The heroes are stepping out of shadow into this new chamber, this undiscovered country where there's a huge statue of sort of a man, and
that's what he looks like.
And his arms are outstretched, and between his palms fall this pink rivulets, these falling waterfalls of this pink-tinged liquid, and it pools up around his feet and disappears into the floor of the chamber. And from the floor of the chamber, between his two legs, is this bubbling pool of molten magma, which is dripping, flowing up in front of his face to disappear into something in the ceiling. Who steps out of the portal first?
Excellent question.
Nils.
8008135 will be, because he's eager to do something, since for some reason he was unable to last few rooms.
And who follows 808? Ethan?
I believe Morgan follows 808.
And Peter, who brings up the rear?
Opie's bringing up the rear.
Opie's bringing up the rear. So we have
We
Opie,
left our heavy hitters behind again, but
Morgan, and 808.
I figured
Right,
we'd use a little bit of magic.
heck yeah.
Where are we? What's going on?
Is there a possibility of a fourth character?
I'm liking the three when the three of you are present.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
No complaints. Just throwing it out
You
there
can
because you
ask.
never know.
But if you want to make it an even four, I'm not opposed to it.
Well, I'm just thinking it might be nice to have Will or Ichabod swinging, or Gideon to a. Does Gideon now Gideon have healing, right?
Some limited amount of healing, but it's more like he's able to do a shared rest period.
Gotcha. Well, if we could bring a fourth, I don't think it'd be bad to bring somebody with heavy armor and weapon. But I'm also happy. I thought it was really fun that the three of us were just the three singles. That first part of this adventure were really very fun equation.
Yeah. I think we can stick with the three of us for now.
Very good.
Mm-hmm.
That way, if we all die, at least we all have a character to fall back.
That's right. We each have a fresh one. So Ethan's doing homework after rebuilding his computer. Props for that, by the way. Nils, what are you working on?
Nothing.
His
Perfect.
imagination.
My what?
Your imagination.
I'm perusing the big OSR sale on DriveThru RPG.
Oh, interesting. What's on sale there? Everything.
Lots of OSR stuff.
Nice.
Just gathering my thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
The four of you step forth into this chamber. The pink mist, the pink liquid running from the rivulets of the outstretched palms are misty and are misting. You know, like water falling off, splattering against the stone. No heat radiates from the magma that flows in an unnatural way from floor to ceiling. What will you do?
So the mist goes down, the lava goes up. I'm just thinking magma
sort
is
of
best
like
avoided.
There's a liquid component to the pink waterfalls.
Oh, you're on your.
Hello.
I'm thinking, I was actually thinking about this as I was listening to it last week, that we need to follow the Vinkman school of magic and cross the streams.
Yeah, I thought that we needed to get them to touch somehow too. That's a good idea. That or we agree in getting ourselves killed.
Yeah. All right.
Of course, when it wakes up and asks you if you're a god, you've got to say yes.
Well, of course.
You say yes. By the way, I watched a film on Netflix called Polar. If you want to see a very bloody assassin taking out the people who were trying to kill him when he retires kind of movie, it's kind of fun for that. It's based on a Dark Horse comic, so.
Well, that doesn't sound bad.
No, it was a bloody action film, and I like Mad Mikkelsen, so.
Oh yeah, he's good.
Yeah, well, he's the character. So Polar is the name of the film.
Polar, eh? Okay.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Ant-Man and Wasp had me laughing my ass off, but I enjoyed Polar. It was cute. I won't say cute, it's violent.
All right. So you wanted to follow the Venkman School of Magic and cross the streams?
Yeah, figure out. So is there any other, as with other things, there's no other way out of here? It's just a.
Yeah, there are no other exits from this chamber.
Okay.
Before we go crossing streams, Morgan's going to cast Sense Magic.
Waterfalls.
Detect magic?
Yeah, her Sense Detect Magic spell.
Sure, take it down. How many more of those do you have left?
One more.
Okay. There's an awful lot of magic in this.
Okay.
The technical term is buttload.
Yeah.
So it's kind of just emanating from everywhere?
Well, no, not exactly. The falling waterfalls, the pink waterfalls, they are magical. The unnatural orange sludge that at first you thought was magma, but now you're not so sure because it's not hot. That's also magical. And the statue itself radiates some kind of latent magical energy.
Okay.
Not as, those other, it's almost drowned out by the sources of the falling pink liquids from the outstretched palms and the orange sludge.
Almost like a dormant kind of magic or something?
Yeah, well, it's very, it's like just there in the background. Faintly.
Okay, yeah.
Where these other things are just like glaring bright.
Yeah.
And how tall is this thing? Is your picture relatively accurate in size? I mean, is it like humongous compared to us?
It is. It's about 3 times the size of a man.
Okay.
Does it have a face?
It does have a face, but not like a man's face. It's more like kind of like a stylized face.
Like an abstract representation of face, not a face, but just face.
Right.
Very, very Henry Moore.
Right.
The platonic ideal of the face.
Ah, nicely put. Ooh, sorry, I'm painting.
So you didn't answer your own question, Peter. What are you working on?
Oh, I'm going back and forth between these undead Greeks and Terrain Crate. Because Terrain Crate's fast and fun, and what the heck, I want to have a chance to use it.
So one more thought.
They're magical.
We could try to use our equipment to redirect the pink stuff inward towards the orange lava. We could try to see if we could climb up the guy and redirect his hands so it's shooting towards the orange lava. We could.
Is the mist hot? Because you said the globs aren't hot.
Yeah, the orange goo. I mean, at first it looked to be lava, but now you realize that it's not radiating any heat. There's no smoke or smoldering in the floor, and it's kind of like the consistency of a lava lamp, like bloop.
That was my thought. It was a lava lamp.
And the pink liquids, they're they're like falling, cascading waterfalls. They're kind of cool, moist and humid, with all the mist coming off of them. But they're not. Nothing here is hot.
Interesting. Opie's going to move towards the mist. Move toward the mist flowing down.
Okay, towards the right or the left-hand side of the statue?
Let's go to the left because that's my inclination in life.
Stay on the outside.
Morgan, while Opie begins moving, is going to cast her mage armor spell on herself.
Okay, how many more castings of that do you have?
One more.
Cool. Like you're par for the course here.
I'm trying.
808. What are you doing while your companions start to move? Oh, who's the 4th character that we brought?
We thought we really enjoyed the
Will.
Well, we just really enjoyed the chemistry of the 3 from the first time we played this adventure. We thought, well, let's just leave it to the 3 of us.
Oh, okay.
So we thought one each.
That's great. I think that's a little easier to manage. just in terms of player capacity, but
And we figured when we all die, at least we all have one character to fall back on.
Exactly.
And there's that. And there's that. Okay. I'm sorry. What is 808 doing while OP creeps towards the left hand, falling pink liquid, and Morgan begins an enchantment? Will you do anything?
The journey on the
he's going to, or it is going to, because obviously because he has no face and no eyes, he has some sort of other sensory or apparatus that might be able to provide information beyond just the visual nature of it, of the surroundings. So he's going to use that ability to, whether it's, I don't know if it's like echolocation or some sort of magical sonar or what that he's able to navigate the world with, but whatever it is, he's going to use that as a way to try to discern any additional capabilities of this thing. Maybe like if there's cracks in the floor or cracks in the structure that shows seams or something like that.
Okay, that's interesting. And if I recall correctly from your background, you were an informant. So obviously 808 would have some capacity to listen with intensity or alacrity. Doesn't alacrity mean with?
Yeah, it means fast. Oh. But yeah, with clarity.
And with intent to remember and regurgitate.
Right.
Brisk and cheerful readiness.
Brisk and cheerful readiness. I like that. And you go biggie, biggie, biggie.
That's alacrity?
Yep.
I guess not. Okay. I thought it was thickness.
He's
fast. Briskness is probably what's got you there. I don't.
Hey, your guess was still closer than anything I had.
I just like this. I think it's a fancy word.
That's a great word. That's one of those 50-cent words.
Because is this something that's always present for 808? This hearing enhancement, or is it something that he has to focus on, create?
I would say he would have. It's something that he would have to somehow engage with, because if he didn't, he would be like overwhelmed with too much information to process.
Well, does he have a spherical head? Or is it like a partial sphere, just a blank sphere for a face, right?
I don't remember. I think I just said it was faceless. It has a head.
Right.
Is it a sphere? Is it a bullet? Is it a block?
And I can see it being much like the nose cone of an aircraft, which just looks like a dome, but it's full of sensory equipment and communications equipment. But I can also see having sensors that pick up vibrations that hit the surface of that dome. And so you pick up surface vibrations, and if you really focus on one direction, maybe you can extend that or really, sort out the other noises, but it also means it's harder for you to be snuck up on or whatever.
Right. Second.
Sorry, I'm giving this some thought. I find the clockwork's really interesting. I've given our whole party a lot of thought. Morgan's fascinating. I love how with the fast development, she's getting power quickly, and it's really kind of cool to see.
Yeah.
Because she's still a kid.
Yep.
Yeah, and I just love that the kid just mage armor. It's very anime.
It is very much.
Okay, we have to hurry on this adventure because she's going to be late for prom.
There we go. Okay. I'm just looking at the charts of determining their clockwork appearance, and it just says you have no facial features or distinguishing markings.
So you
So
get to decide.
I'm sorry.
You get to decide.
Right. So I'm going to say he doesn't even have a head like thing.
Okay.
I see a sort of bulbous sphere with arms and legs coming out of it. That's how I see it. Not quite Marvin the robot from.
Says I'm also 6 feet tall, 300 pounds. So, yeah, I'll just be kind of a body with legs. And there's some sort of there's a voice box in my chest. So that's kind of, people kind of think of that as my face because that's where the voice comes from.
That's kind of where they talk to, what they
Yeah.
address when they're speaking to you.
Yeah.
And when you turn on this listening apparatus, does something change about your body, or is it just an attunement?
Well, if it wouldn't work well if something changed visibly, if I was an informant, because then people could tell I'm listening.
Yeah.
But it does require me to not move, because otherwise, if I'm moving, all my gears and clickings would overwhelm I'd not be able to hear over the top over it.
Oh, okay, right. So that some sort of stationary,
right,
silent listening. Okay, I've got it. Thank you. That's very cool. A fortune point for 808.
Oh, okay, good, because I think I've run out of all of them.
Did you catch in the let's while we're on the topic of fortune points, let's just do the quick recap about their uses that we talked about at the end of last session. I have them written down here.
One is saving your ass.
Use the fortune point to auto-succeed at any task that you're undertaking. Use a fortune point to add a d6 or to make a d6 automatically a 6. That's a lot of what we've been using the fortune point for in the past.
And I accidentally used it for the first one. I just went, I'm burning a fortune point to succeed.
Right, and that's kind of where we got to that point of, well, how do these things really work?
Yeah.
And then the last usage is use a fortune point for any friend that's attempting and any companion that's attempting an action to grant them +2 boons.
Which is pretty good when you think about it.
Yeah, like especially if you're out of fortune points and somebody else isn't, right?
Yeah, and 2 boons can really make a difference in a roll.
2 boons can make a right.
Question mark?
2 boons make a bane.
2 banes. He said 2 boons make a right.
All right. Opie, you're creeping towards the leftmost waterfall that's falling from the outstretched palm of this very large statue. What are you planning to do here?
I'm trying to first off smell it, see if I can smell it. Oh, it's got sort of a,
there's a
jasmine scent, or no, it smells like arsenic. Don't go near that.
It smells sweet, almost candy-like, but very. It's not permeating the whole space, right? You can just barely catch hints of this sweetness.
All right, let's see what I have on me here.
It's liquid cotton candy.
That's scary.
And the scary things is when the clowns show up to take the candy.
Oh,
there
great.
is a
and I'm 1 inch above the floor.
module recently called Blood in the Chocolate.
What module?
Yeah, some kind of module called Blood in the Chocolate that's set like kind of 17th century in a sweets factory.
Nice. Then I'd have to get those limited edition figures. They're going to have at Salute this year of Willy Wonka and the Oompa Loompas.
Ooh, are you going?
No, but I'm hoping Tom will get them for me.
Yeah, that would be kind of.
Is he going?
I'm pretty sure he is. I would like to go. That's one of my I'd like to go to, and I'd also like to go. Is it the British Games Expo? Because it's like a couple of days, and it's more of a convention, so you could do more. Salute would be exciting, but it's just one day, and it's just
Yeah.
crazy
The
busy.
shows are
It's only
fun.
like 10 to 6. I don't understand it.
Yeah,
Much rather
Night games.
yeah. I guess. I don't know. I just can't see why you wouldn't want to go 2 days.
Because England is small enough, everyone can drive there and back in a day, pretty much, and so they don't have to go for 2 days. It's not the reason that a lot of U.S. conventions go for 2 days is because people have to get.
All right, I'm back. Had to do something real fast.
Oh,
We missed you. Nils didn't, but I did.
I didn't even notice you were gone. So
That's what I mean. He didn't miss you.
It's fine.
I heard you disappear.
Morgan, you've successfully completed your enchantment. Your armor flies up around you. What does that look like? Have we talked about this, your mage armor?
I think we haven't. I think I've changed its description slightly every time.
What does it look like today?
That's a good question.
What does it look like in this enchantment?
This time, it looks like you see sort of like around her is this greenish, almost ethereal, like nature plant that's like growing around and covering her body.
Cool.
That's
like
like semi-translucent. Yeah.
Like leaves, like folding around her.
Yeah.
Her torso and her limbs.
Yeah, and it's like kind of like fading. Its translucency is it slowly goes to opaque and then translucent and back and forth again.
Okay. Very cool. .808, you can hear like the sizzle and the pop of the mist that's coming off of this water.
Mhm.
But you don't hear the water hitting the ground at the foot of the statue. Like falling into nothingness.
And what are the blobs rising into?
Into the ceiling, but they sort of hit the ceiling and then kind of bloop through. And then the ceiling's whole. And then another blob or two hits the ceiling and bloops through.
I wonder if you touch the blobs if you'll go floating up into the ceiling. Or you'll be attacked by a giant pudding of some sort.
Orange
no,
pudding.
really, it's sounding like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Orange pudding. Any ideas, gentlemen? Or I'm going to go touch a blobule.
So by bloop through, you mean it kind of like it coagulates on the ceiling and then just kind of like disappears? Like it's
Yeah, it sort of like splats into the ceiling, sort of spreads out a little bit, and then it sort of gets drawn through the ceiling. But there's no mark on the ceiling.
Right, okay.
I'm worried that the lingering magic on the statue is going to do something, but I mean, we got to do something, so.
I'm hesitant to eat things.
Thinking about it, if the stuff starts at the floor on the orange stuff, goes up and disappears into the ceiling,
Mm-hmm.
the pink stuff comes out the hands and then doesn't reach the floor. So it's almost that maybe it's like cycling from the floor to the ceiling to the hands and then disappearing at the floor. Because that's the pink stuff coming down to the floor is the one place that like it doesn't actually reach.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, so far, when we wanted to leave a room, we've had instances, I think, where we've gone through the ceiling. We haven't yet gone through the floor yet, I think. Right?
The mushroom room, we dug down through the dirt.
Yeah, but
I think that was a time issue.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the mushroom room, you dug through the dirt and found the corpse.
Right, but then we kept digging, thinking that might get us. We might find a way out. but
And
then
then
we
found
just
the stone floor.
right, and we just appeared in the next room.
So what I'm wondering is if the orange stuff, because we know that we've had at least one instance, I think, where we went through the ceiling to go somewhere.
Yeah, in the first rooms we walked up the stairs out on the outside that took us all the way to the top.
Right. Then perhaps we want to continue going up and find some way to join in the stream and use that to push us up.
Not a bad idea.
Do we have like a coin or something we can put in the stream to see if it doesn't?
Oh yeah. I was just looking at my character sheet. I have a number of things like that we can toss.
It sounds like you want to throw something into one of the globules that's rising towards the ceiling.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm going to take one of my sling stones.
Okay. And how are you going to deliver it to this?
I'm going to go get up close to it, not touch the globule yet, but just sort of push it right
Reach
into
out
it.
towards it and like sort of drop it in.
Yeah.
Okay. A few things happen.
Only a few. It's
Yeah.
okay.
As long as they don't involve me, as long as they don't involve my hand getting cut off, we're good.
Oh God! Don't
Again.
Your legs, though.
We did have a leg incident with Opie, I believe.
Yeah. I had to do some kind of massive healing spell, if I recall correctly.
So you like reach out towards the with the stone towards the orange globule, and there's like a big one forming that, and it starts kind of moving pretty quickly, but you can kind of get the pebble or the stone into it, and it hits the surface of it. It like sticks like clay or putty, and then it gets drawn into it. And at that moment, as the stone gets drawn into the orange goo, the statue starts to move.
Oh, I'm sorry, guys.
The hands come together, and this liquid splashes out everywhere, and it clenches its fist down, and it just sort of kind of starts pouring in rivulets down its arms, and it looks down at you. What will you do?
I'm not surprised, by the way.
Never surprised, Opie, are you? I knew that was going to happen.
As long as I'm awake.
I don't even jump. Like the huge hands smashing together, and as the fists clench and the water starts to, flow down the arms, it starts to. You can see the water is like still start to kind of burst out of it, like just a little bit here, and then even more, and then it's like back to its falling water.
Back to its original pose.
Let's go ahead and throw up an initiative, and we'll just use that as a tracker of sorts.
I was going to take my clay jar and start mumbling in its own mumble.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand. Did you say it goes back to its original pose, or that it's actually, you said it goes back to something?
The water goes back to squirting and falling out of his hands. The pink water.
Okay. But he's like coming after us at this point.
He's like started to move. He made this big clapping sound, which splashed up all the water and clenched his fists. And we'll use this. Can
we talk to him?
We'll use this
initiative tracker.
We'll use this initiative tracker. He's going slow. What are you guys gonna do?
Morgan's going to go slow so she can try and talk in his mumble speak with the jar and then cast a spell if she needs to.
And we have no will, but we do have an 808.
Correct.
So
I don't think I'm going to be able to talk to this guy in his mumble speak with the jar, but I figure it's worth trying to talk to a creature that's 3 times my size.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Is there any in my listening and my observation of him? Has there been any indication that this is a mechanical object?
Ooh, good question.
Yes, you do hear the grinding of gears.
Okay, I
The
actually
winding of springs,
one of my
firing of pistons.
one of my abilities was to learn a new language, which I can't remember if this actually was. I think this was one that I just picked because of my beginnings, the following of the Cog God. I start speaking in binary and see if I can communicate with
Okay,
the.
so are you going to go fast or slow? Do you want to do 2
Oh,
things in this round, or
I
it's
will.
going
I will
slow
go
as
slow.
well? You could safely go slow and take 2 actions.
I'm not seeing any of the tokens though. They're not there.
Oh, because one of the tokens had light, which illuminated the tracker.
And he's gone now.
Oh, it is.
I guess because I don't see any tokens either. Poor tokens.
Wah, wah, wah.
Oh, I know why it is.
There we are.
Now you can see, right?
Yep. Yeah. So I'm going to go slow.
And that just leaves Opie.
Nope, I moved over to slow.
Okay. Why don't you guys go ahead and take your actions? Why don't we start at the... I don't care who starts. It's, you guys start. So you guys take your 2 actions, and then I'll take 2 actions.
After you, Morgan.
So as the statue made like a mumbling and rumbling sound, Morgan is gonna hold on to the jar of many languages and see if the jar is able to give her the ability to like do that same sort of mumble speak to this creature.
Okay, it's more like kind of a grunting and a groaning that's kind of coming from this creature, but you can certainly try it. Why don't you roll a D100 for me?
All right.
No sound emanates from the jar.
Dope. All right.
It was a good idea.
I didn't think it was going to work, but
Couldn't hurt.
exactly.
I'm going to try to move around the periphery of this thing back towards the left side again, so if it does start moving, I can get in behind it.
Okay, kind of watch as you go with like, you know, one, the kind of a turn of its large rock-like head.
But I am not making a threatening motion, by the way.
No,
I'm just
I see
taking
you just kind of moving out around the outside.
That's right. 2 trailer park girls go around the outside.
All right, and 808.
808 is going to then try to speak in his binary speak to the monster, and specifically say, "Hail, great
Brother
clockwork! Yeah, hail, great clockwork! I am of your kind. What brings you to this room?"
Let's hang, homie.
Okay, let's see. A couple other things are happening. You know, as you guys are taking your actions, you can see the water start to spring forth from between these clenched fists. Before they had been open and the water was just kind of pouring out of it. And the clenched fists sort of broke that water stream, but now it's kind of breaking through and bursting through the clenched fists, creating these, you know, this kind of smaller flow of water, but it's this pink misting water. The orange molten mud and goo is still there and kind of before the statue itself, and it still hasn't stopped its slow lava lamp-like ascent into the ceiling. And 808, you are attempting to speak to this great brute. And
What happened to my rock, by the way?
question.
I was wondering if it
You
came hit.
make
I was wondering if it came falling back to the ground after it hit the ceiling, or
good.
if
Why
it
don't you make an
disappeared.
intellect check? Straight intellect challenge.
Is that? Hey, Opie's all right on that. Hey, all right. Ooh.
Did you hit a 10? Oh yeah.
I hit an 18.
Yeah. So you were, with all this commotion going on, for which you were not surprised at all.
This is so
And as you
predictable.
start to move around the outside there, you can see that you never left, your eyes never left that bubble that where the rock was, like the shifting
Exactly.
of clips, but you knew exactly where it was. And you see it hit the ceiling as well. It flattens out and poof, it's gone. No rock falls to the face.
All right. And you said he's taking a position between us and the globules?
No, it's more about like how the position initially started. Let me give you a quick sketch, just for amusement's sake.
So I'm wondering if we need to get into the globules before you can crush us, or we need to get into the water before you can crush us. I think it's like the room where the rocks were chasing me, the wave of rocks, and I had to touch the monolith. Just a theory I have.
I have a theory.
And it involves us running a lot.
What's going on with this?
All right, well, those are done.
Not enough.
On those, yeah, well, braziers aren't that hard to paint.
They are fun to take off.
Oh, it's good to stay in practice with that, though. You don't ever want to lose your skills at that.
Okay, so the statue is about here. Excuse my rough drawing.
Very good.
And the orange goo is about here. The statue's got a head of sorts and arms of a fashion. I like my statue. Looks like a giant deranged penguin.
Big Hero 6.
And I think Opie's over here.
Yes.
And the other two characters I have about here in my mind's eye, but that's purely my mind.
Okay.
It's all in your mind.
And you were going to speak to it. 808, give me an intellect challenge with 2 Banes.
Okay. Well, luckily, I got this +3. That's not.
Should be a +3 to your roll, but you'll still pick up the first of the Bane roll.
Oh.
You want to burn a fortune point?
Burn a fortune point.
I'm curious. Oh, +3. Okay, that's why. Okay. To do, and what would that do?
Makes that a success.
Oh, just an automatic success.
Yes. Turn a failure into success is one for 3 choices. It's my favorite at the moment.
Well, I'm just wondering then, why would you ever just change it to? I guess it's like, for example, for damage. I guess, or something like that.
Right. Or maybe you already succeeded and you wanted to get to that 20 plus or something.
Yeah. Yes, I will use the fortune point that you gave me earlier today.
Okay, great.
Well earned, well spent.
So in its actions, it like cocks its head at 808 and it kind of crouches down, looking at you from the one side of the orange goo to the next side of the orange goo. And it says something like, I was placed here to watch this place, to guard this place. And one of the orange bubbles goes up in his head. With it. He rises up and then looks back down. And he's kind of ignoring the two of you, and he's rapidly focused on 808. All right, new round. You guys go fast or slow? Oh,
I'm going to continue to go slow.
and
That was only
also,
we only got one action out of our 2 slow actions, didn't we?
on
Yeah, but we didn't have anything else to do really.
Right, I mean,
I was
I
taking the
wasn't-
defense.
I just
Yeah,
put the jar away with my other action.
Okay.
Yeah, and I just sort of overwatch.
and you
Okay.
know, and suddenly it roars and says, "And you do not belong here!" And he wings back a big arm. Now we're into a new round.
Yeah, well.
Okay, he gets to die.
I think we want to get out of here.
Well, I mean, I say he's gonna die, which really just means we're gonna run.
I say run for the globs. Run for the globule! My sling stone never came back. It disappeared through the ceiling with the glob. That's our way out. I'm running. Now,
So
here's my question, Aaron, before I choose fast or slow. Will one action get me to a glob while dodging him?
Oh yeah, you went to the outside.
Yeah, I was just trying to spread us out, and I want to go around him to keep him distracted from my friends. And if I go around the back of him, he'll have to turn to look at me, I'm sure, or I get a free way out. But my hope is he's watching me so they can get to a globule as well.
Yeah,
but
you're gonna need two actions to
excellent.
get to
I'm going slow.
To get to the globule. The Opie and Morgan could get there now.
Okay, I'm definitely going to use. I'm going slow.
Okay, so you said I gotta go slow to make it to the globules, then I will go slow.
Well, it's not like Peter needs to go slow because he's further away, but you, Morgan and 808, can they get there in one action?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Then fast I go.
Yeah, go. I'll bring up the rear.
Okay, so I will also go slow.
Ooh.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay, yeah.
I get it. You're being respectful, and you might even talk to him. I get it. I love this sentient clockwork. It's just such a, rather kind of, I guess, kind of an original fantasy trope to me.
Okay, and let's see. Morgan, you reach out and you touch the globule. Your hand reaches out to caress it, and you feel yourself being sucked, drawn, and it's almost as if you're plucked off your feet and just shoved into this little orange sphere. You can sort of see out of it, like looking through amber or honey or something, about what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that that horrifies you the most is that that one hand was wheeling back to strike out at 808 when one of the palms just backhands Opie, whack the other one. And Opie, you are going to take.
What? Oh, it's going fast.
Yeah, it's going fast.
Ooh, that's a hit. I think my AC is 15.
Yeah, it looks like a hit.
Defense is 14. Yeah, I'm hit. How many points?
10.
10?
And if you could see, Morgan tries to scream through the amber light, but it just does. You just don't hear anything.
Yeah, we just sort of see it's almost like looking through a fisheye lens. She seems far away for some
and you
reason.
seem everything that you're looking out on now, Morgan, seems larger than life. Okay. Now it's Opie and 808. What will you do?
Let's go, 808. Let's go. And I'm running.
Okay. You
Follow Morgan.
You make one action. You get up towards the goo. What next?
Jump onto it.
Just leaping into it.
Yeah. I don't want to get hit again.
Okay, you jump into the center of the bubbling mass, and this large globule just forms around you. It's bigger than any one that you've seen so far, and you start to tumble and swirl, and you can feel yourself, rising up off the ground, kind of somersaulting and caterwauling.
Did Morgan actually shrink? I mean, was the blob smaller than she was, and therefore she shrank?
Yeah, it was about the size of her fist, her small childlike fist.
All right, so I will. In my first action, I will continue to speak and say, we will try to free you, so you'll no longer need to be trapped here. But take solace in the cog god. He will come one day, and we will have oil for all our joints. And I'll jump in the globs.
You're just jumping in.
You have nothing to lose from your chains, brother.
You're just jumping in like Opie did. Above your head height, you can see Morgan's small bubble, and then about chest height or a little, starting to float a little bit higher, the big blob of Opie, and you're just going to jump into the middle of the bubbling mass and.
Well, I'm gonna. If there's another one that's already floating up, I will try to do that.
Which one will you grab, Morgan's or Opie's?
Okay, so those are the only two.
Well, there are others too. I mean, there are other bubbles. You can grab your own, or you can jump in and get. And have it fully surround you, or you can get little like Morgan.
I will, if I can reach it, I will try to go with Morgan.
Okay, make an agility check to see if you can get to her. Straight agility challenge.
Oh yeah, all you got to do is touch the surface.
Well, that's.
I get it. Hey.
Not a great thing for me. So. Oh, there we go. Okay, got it.
As you leap, your fingertip just touches, and you're gone.
Yep. And you can just see this thing goes like, "There is no cog god," and it just kind of goes back to its original position, but it's sort of reclined a little bit. Right, let's see what's going to happen now. What happens now?
I'm sure there is a cog god.
Probably.
Sorry, just making a couple of refinements here. Oops. Okay, let's see here. Right. Morgan, you come up out of the floor in a new chamber, and looking down, you can see 808 sort of pushing and straining his way up out of the floor as well. It's slightly orange in coloration. And what do you see? What do you seek? High above you is a ball of blazing hot blue plasma hanging in the air and filling the room with a bluish light. There's a green portal covering a section of the wall within the faux archway. and lying flat on the floor between the plasma and the portal are 6 irregularly shaped glass panels with bronze frames, like a mirror but transparent. And they're about 4 feet tall. But they vary in width and height, but they're about 4 feet tall.
Mm-hmm.
Opie,
Mm-hmm.
you draw yourself up silently into a chamber and look about for your friends, and none stand with you.
I'm not surprised.
But shining from a hole in the ceiling is the full moonlight, bathing the entire chamber in this pearlescent illumination. And sitting in a bronze cradle of 5 legs that's about 2 feet high off the ground and about 3 feet around is a big crystal sphere with wisps of blue smoke cascading around within it. You can see around the room 5 statues, armed warriors.
Oh, shit. Somebody's shaving.
Somebody's
Oh.
phone. Sorry,
My
I'm
phone buzzing.
skimming some notes.
Oh man, I'm alone in a room with warriors. That's not good. That's not good. And I'm wounded. I blame Aaron for that.
I'll be back in a second.
All right, great. Maybe this is probably a good time to take a break while I go make a cup of tea and
Cool. I can refill my iced tea.
Can go make some tea.
Excellent. All of us will be back in a moment.
Yes. 2 hours later.
Okay, I'm back.
Anybody else there?
Yep.
Yay, 2 of us back. How you been, Nils?
Okay.
You're a bit reticent tonight.
Just tired and hectic day. Trying to wrangle Grace because she's sick for 2 days and
Oh, that always
getting
makes
her
things
to
harder.
catch up on homework, and
Mm.
she's in an advanced history English class. And the guy is not only assigns lots of homework, but also says that if you're sick, expect to turn in all your homework that you missed on the day that you return, and to take any tests that you missed on the day you return.
Yeah, well, legally he can't do that.
Why is that?
Because legally, if a child is out sick, they have that amount of time to get back the late work. So if kid's out 2 days, they have 2 days when they get back to turn in their late work. Now, maybe that's a district rule, but I was pretty sure that's could be a district rule, but I thought it was state law. No, she's what, 8th grade, right?
Ninth.
9th. High school, maybe very different. I don't know. That seems pretty hardcore.
Yeah, especially like if you're sick, how are you supposed to be studying? And
Right.
part of it is that he's like so overly organized. He has all of his, and he teaches everything so exactly the same every time. He's got all of his lessons planned posted online. So all of his handouts and everything. So there's no excuse for the students not having stuff.
Because
but they've also not
whether they're not.
Right. But they also don't have, they haven't been to the lectures, and there might be questions, and like
Sure.
she missed a test yesterday, and she looked online and said, okay, it was an assignment that was assigned on Tuesday. We worked on it on Wednesday. She was out Tuesday and Wednesday, and the test was yesterday. So I don't know anything about this because I wasn't in the class at the time. So how am I supposed to take the test? And that was the test that he had her do today. So
yeah,
right. But it seems like
that's rough. I could see that with a college class, but 9th grade or maybe 12th grade, but 9th grade, that's pretty hardcore.
Yeah.
Teacher?
History.
Oh, history.
But it seems like he has so many quizzes that I think that, be doing bad on a quiz or two because you're sick might not, might even out because you've got a lot of other stuff.
Because the average is, there's so many numbers in the average. Yeah.
Okay, let's start with Morgan and 808.
Excellent, because I have no idea what I'm going to do.
So there's a ball of plasma and there's mirrors.
Yes.
Okay.
They are irregularly shaped. Some are broader and shorter. Some are taller and narrower. Some are like obtuse, weird angles. I believe there are 6.
I'm sorry, you said there's 6 of them?
I think that's right.
Okay. And how are they mounted? Are they just
they're framed in bronze?
Okay. And are they just sitting on the ground? Do they seem to be movable?
It's like as if there were a big, like, mirrors kind of laid down on the floor, but they're not mirror. They're translucent. You can look through them.
Oh, so it's. So we look through them.
Yeah, and you can see that they have like these little stands that you could set them into.
Mm-hmm.
Like sort of scattered around that area too are these flat stands with slots cut in them,
right?
Where the mirror thing could sit down into the frame.
Right. So when you say you look through them, you mean you just look through them and see the floor or the backing?
It's like a window pane.
Right. Okay. All right. So it sounds like we need to arrange these in some sort of format to.
One of them circular, and the others are, as you start to look more closely at them, you can see that one has one has 3 sides, one has 4, another has 5. There are a couple of crazy ones with even more, like 11, 13 sides.
Give me those sides again.
Sure.
3, 5, 11, 13. Those are all prime numbers.
3, 5, 11, 13, and 4.
4. Damn it.
And one is one is circular.
Well, that's an infinite number of sides, so that could be possibly prime too. That's an interesting question. Is infinity prime number?
Is it circular as in a cylinder or circular as in a sphere?
A circular in a 2-dimensional circle.
Okay, so it's so it's like a flat disc.
Yes.
Okay. So that's one-sided. Well, that's a two-sided.
It's got 2 sides, but one infinite edge of the frame. When I was talking about sides of the frame, it was like, a traditional 4-sided frame.
Oh, I see.
And then
yes,
there's one that's 3-sided frame, so kind of like a wonky triangle. And there's another that's got 5 sides. One that has
they're not Fibonacci numbers.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good point. All right, Mr. Math Guy, that's just got back.
Yep. What's up?
Did you hear all that? So we're looking at the mirrors. They have 3, 4, 5, 11, and 13 sides, and then there's one circular one.
And one has no sides because it's a circle. It's a disc.
Okay, you said 3, 4, 5,
11, 13, and then circular. And there's
which I take as a 1.
No, it's an infinity.
Fine.
If it and there's slots on the floor that look like they can be set into.
They're like these big rocks, or like big paperweights that you could pick up in 2 hands. And in this rock, in this big paperweight, in this brick, some of them are rock-like, some of them are brick-like. They're big slots, and it looks like the same width as if you could set the frame inside that and stand it up. Right. We'll cut to while you guys are pondering this. situation of the room with the blue plasma sphere sparking in the center, and the strange green portal in the archway, and these bizarre frames placed scattered about the room. We'll go to Opie.
Oh no,
we're in moonlight.
You guys are fine. You can keep going.
Something that's like bigger than a basketball, sitting in this bronze 5-legged cradle, and around the room are 5 statues of armed warriors. Ornate, stylized armor. One wears no helmet, a beautiful visage, flowing hair, expertly carved. Another wears a fierce battle helm, shrouding his face. And the remaining 3 stand in shadow. What will you do, Opie? And within the sphere, you can see wisps of blue smoke, like swirling in it.
I don't want to move yet.
Okay.
Just because, throwing that rock into the goop, launched the big guy, and
it started a chain reaction.
Yeah, it wasn't good. So if I can avoid anything happening by not moving right now, I will. So I do want to spend a little time just sort of frozen in space, very carefully monitoring the statues to see if there's any sign of movement from them, or just by myself, which is my theory when I wasn't in the same bubble as Morgan, that we were going to get separated.
Okay. Your theory was not wrong. Let's see here.
Well, after we ate slightly different parts of the mushroom or whatever, how it worked, we went somewhere else. I just figured that's going to happen a lot.
Skimming my notes.
Feel free to cut the part where it's metals all around.
Metals all around. Die, huzzah.
Get rid of slimy girls.
Yeah.
It's the home number I never answer.
Oh.
I know. It's crazy. I still like to have a landline.
For some reason, even though it's all VoIP now, so it doesn't matter. The internet goes down, everything's going to die.
That's it.
Yeah, since when we were buying this house, we tried to get a real landline because Grace is going to be home by herself, and we didn't want that problem. And it was going to cost. They would do it, and it would be a relatively normal cost. But if you ever use the line, like calling more than 2 miles away would be long distance or something like that. So we keep meaning to get a UPS to plug our router and our phones into, and never get around to it.
I blame society. Man, I am so looking forward to the next terrain crate.
Have they started talking about what's going to be in it?
Yeah, some of what it's going to be is modern, and one of the things they've shown for modern is things like modern camping equipment, pup tents and stuff like that. Oh God, there's something else that really looked good for modern, but one of them I really like was, I think it said Edwardian, and it's a grand piano and a grandfather clock and all the stuff that would just fit my waltzing stuff perfectly.
And it goes perfectly with your French maids.
Exactly. It's perfect for all that. Plus, that's a skirmish game, and it uses the interiors of the building. So what the hell?
Okay, what do you? So you're watching.
I am.
You're
Yeah,
I
am not moving yet, and I'm
movement or
in the egg thing as well, and
so you can see that swirling kind of blue mist within this large crystal sphere. and the moonlight is like, you know, high above the tower, just shining directly into this space. It sort of hits a weird angle of the wall, and that's why some of the statues are in shadow still. And why don't you go ahead and give me a straight intellect challenge?
I was going to say, is the moon changing phase quickly, or is it doing anything
No,
like that?
it's full, about the way you recall it before you entered, and in the relative position when you entered.
Ooh, you know what? Wait.
Are you going to do it?
Yeah, I'm doing it. I'm burning a fortune point. Let's change that to let's just make it a success.
So returning your gaze back to the room itself, trying to, you know, open up all your senses to this place. Something stirs within the sphere. Something dark and sinister. What is that? What is that flash that you catch that makes you take half a step back?
Well, the smoke almost moves like a living thing. It doesn't drift like a smoke. It almost coils and moves like it's almost like it's looking back at me.
Okay. And we'll return to Morgan and
I'm fucked.
nice cliffhanger to leave it on, right?
It is. Yeah, you should write comic books. You have a gift for it.
Morgan, what will you do?
Morgan is going to go over to the circle.
Okay.
So it's like, so these are panels, right?
Mm-hmm. They're transparent glass, a bronze frame or edging around them. In the case of this circular disc, it's an edging.
Okay.
It's about 3 feet across. It's like one of those big light panels that you would see like that kind of size.
Okay. She's gonna try and use it, or lift it up and use it kind of like a lighthouse would use a lens to focus.
Mm-hmm.
And try and focus some of the light from the sphere towards the portal or towards the archway in that area.
Yeah, so arranging that disc, that panel, and you're able to catch some of the light and refract it or point it towards the green the green, what did I call it? Well, it looks like another portal. The kind of green, this kind of green shimmery portal, it changes it to the same hue of blue as the plasma.
Interesting.
Ball of plasma circling the sky. 808, what will you do?
I'm going to start looking at the sconces, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, let's call them sconces. That's
okay.
Fine.
And trying to see if I could discern a pattern of where, like, reflecting where they're the way that they're angled to see if they would like reflect into each other. I'm guessing we have to set them up and have pull a reflect to get across through each other kind of thing.
Make an intellect challenge with the Bane.
Again with the intellect. That's right. Intellect is good. That's right. Good. I was thinking. Intellect. Yes, I am.
Add it the something
agility. Else. There we go.
Yeah. So the sconces, the floor sconces, are not fixed in the floor itself, and
okay.
It's as if they've sort of been, cast about. There's no pattern, rhyme, or reason. Some of them are tipped on their edges or sides. Some of them are upside down. It's like somebody took a big sack and like dumped out the panels and dumped out the floor sconces.
Right. Okay. That's unfortunate.
Back to OP.
Yeah.
What's your reaction to recognizing that there's something living, something more than just smoke within that sphere?
To watch it rather intently more than I was actually watching the statues before, so it's getting a lot of my attention.
But now you're focused. Now you're like dialed in. You're like,
right. This is why I didn't move.
And you don't move, but it moves to you. It's
That's what I was afraid of.
But you can see that you haven't moved. It's like this weird change in
perspective.
It's
like the way they do that thing in movies where the character's right there in the center screen and the hallway just disappears in the distance all of a sudden.
But it's going the other way.
Right. Unfortunately, it's coming towards me.
And you're looking into it, and you can see each one of those wisps of smoke is actually like a serpent, not unlike the serpents that you encountered in the room with the big statue.
Mm-hmm.
But they're flatter. They're more water-like, these serpents. And you see two that start to whirl their way into like a figure eight, an infinity, and your eyes just can't leave that shape of the infinity. And
I'm not surprised.
And we'll stop, and we'll go back to think about what's next. And you can see, and there's a rise of energy within the center of that infinity symbol.
Now, before we go, just one quick question. Sure. What appeared to move towards me, the entire sphere or just the wisp living things within it?
Oh, yeah, it was as if you rushed up to the smoke itself. Everything around you has like faded into the background. The stand on which the sphere sits, the glass surrounding the smoke itself, the moon high in the sky, radiating through this opening in the ceiling, and it's just the smoke now.
All right.
The smoke and the blackness, and then the weaving of this pattern, and then this gathering of energy within the center of that infinity symbol, sort of growing out and like starting to fall over towards your face like a mask.
All right. And then we cut.
And then we cut. To Morgan and 808. What will you do? What will you do, 808?
So I didn't quite understand. You said that there was a portal? I thought there wasn't anything else in the room.
Well, there's that funny fake archway, fake doorway.
Mm-hmm.
And inside that archway is like a green energy.
We haven't seen that before.
And it's similar to like that black, you weren't here at the session, but there was like a black gaping mirror-like hole or portal. It looks like a portal. It looks like you could step through this, but you can't see what's on the other side. And it was green in color, kind of like this sort of dark forest green almost. And now it's changed to the same color, the same blue hue as the ball of plasma. It's sort of sparking and lighting up the chamber with this blue light.
And is Morgan still shining the filter on it, or is it staying that color after she stopped?
What are you doing, Morgan?
Morgan is gonna angle the panel slightly so that some of the light still goes through somewhat onto the portal, but that some of it could be reflected. And then she's gonna go over to the next panel, which is I think the 2 or 3 sided one, and lift that up and try and get it so that it is angled so that it catches some of the light from the circle panel and begins bouncing it in a different direction.
Okay. So you're fiddling with this thing, and what are you doing, 808? There's no change or no new lights created in the chamber from those actions, Morgan. What are you doing, 808?
Okay.
I'm going to start picking up the panels of larger sides and look through them and see if I can see if there's any discernible. Look at the plasma through them to see if there's a discernible light, a difference in the light, or if there's anything visibly different.
Oh, you're gonna like look through the panel at the plasma, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Which one are you gonna pick up?
13.
Okay. So you pick up 13 and you hold it up and you look through it with your no face, with your and using your no eyes to see colors in the way that men never saw them before. But that ball of plasma that was blue, when you look at it through the 13 side, is like a brilliant orange.
Okay.
How
Morgan,
much?
what will you do?
Okay. Morgan will continue going around setting up these frames, trying to create a bouncing effect, and on the last one, have it pointed back towards the circle, basically amplifying the light and sending it back, basically creating like a laser maze, trying to bounce it and change the portal that way.
So you're okay. And what's the final panel in the sequence?
The final panel would be the 13 one that 808 has.
Oh, okay. And you set that final panel into place.
And your head explodes.
And the field of energy in the faux doorway changes from blue to orange.
Okay.
But it's not a brilliant orange. It's like sort of a muted, kind of muddy. Muddy
Terracotta. More of a terracotta.
Yeah, kind of a terracotta.
Okay.
Sorry.
Back to Opie.
Crap.
So
Okay,
I'm
not surprised. I knew this was going to happen.
You knew this was going to happen. I mean, and
I just saw The Incredibles 2, so I know what this mask is going to try to do to me.
Oh, you do? I didn't see Incredibles 2. What does it do?
Oh, the villain puts a mask on you because he's called Screen Slaver.
Oh, that's right. I have
since
seen
projects through
Incredibles.
the screen. Yeah, Incredibles 2 is really cute, and puts the mask on you, and it's got little screens, and then you're slaved.
Yeah.
So Opie, here just before you blow my head off, because I know I'm about to be eaten by these snake wisp things, but I just want to see his plan when he came in, thinking these statues were going to attack, was as soon as there was any movement, was to dive forward, somersault, and reach that ball, because that's the only unique thing in the room. And so far, touching something unique has gotten him out of every room.
Okay.
So that was his plan.
Okay. Good.
So if this thing's coming towards me, my thought is I'm going to dive low, like just assuming this is coming towards my face, and assuming the floor is still there somewhere, is to dive low and move towards where I think the sphere is. So go ahead and blow my brains out of my nose with the smoke.
There are no brain blowing happening here.
Oh, good.
You are your reflexes take over, and the plan that you had set in motion before you were drawn to the infinite vastness of the interior of this sphere just take over, and like you dive forward low and come up just in front of the sphere, hands at the ready, and the mask is falling towards your you can still see the mask falling towards your
Towards my face.
towards your face, and you know
Cool.
that
That's creepier than shit.
you could embrace it, or you could embrace it and accept what darkness it has to offer, because there's obviously something dark and sinister
And powerful.
here, or you could turn away. What will you do, Opie?
Opie does not want to face the dark and sinister. He is trying to get out of there.
Okay.
He is turning away.
Okay, so you shake, you kind of shake
my
it
head,
off.
close my eyes, and reach forward. Yeah. Tempted, thinking, I bet there's something helpful here, but I'm a good man that does bad things. I got to stay a good man that does bad things. Otherwise, I'm just a bad man.
Okay.
That's his subconscious talking. That's all.
I like it.
Keep telling yourself that.
I do in real life.
Let's see here. I just want to. So you've come up before the artifact. You've shaken off the effects of the darkness that's trying to draw you into it. And what do you do?
Me?
Opie.
I reach forward towards the sphere.
Towards the sphere.
Yeah, trying to get out of this room. Or is reaching towards the sphere embracing the darkness?
No, embracing the darkness was allowing the mask to fall.
Okay, yeah, no, yeah. I'm still reaching towards the sphere. That's my one hope before I have to turn around and figure out the puzzle of these warriors and moving pieces around or whatever.
Okay. Hang on, just give me my notes, sorry.
That's fine. Like I always say, I'm still alive as long as you're reading. And Nils isn't painting. How sad.
Yeah, I haven't painted for about a month. I'm been busy, but also
you're like on par for me. Just do 12 more of those and you'll be where I'm at.
Sometimes you just need a break. Besides, you know plenty of people you can hire, Aaron.
Well, how expensive.
But I'm worth it.
True.
My stuff's about to be on box art.
That's
cool.
So awesome. You really need to put together a little portfolio.
Yeah, I'm going to start working
shop
on
it around, That could be your retirement.
Well, the more I think about it, the more it makes sense. Because if I'm going to make money doing anything in my retirement, it better be something I like doing. So
yeah.
Because people said, you could, teach teachers. You could go to community. You teach at a community college. I'm like, fuck that. When I'm done in my room, I'm done.
Yeah. Right. Truth. All right. Yeah, so you pick up the sphere, and it takes like two hands to hold it, and you're sort of cradling it against you, and you can feel like there's something inside of it, right? There's a rumbling, there's a tumbling, there's a rumbly in your tumbly as you hold it towards your belly. And
is there any writing or anything on it whatsoever?
Give me an intellect challenge with one bane.
I prefer boons, just if you're curious. If you're wondering what to get me. All right, hold on. -1, right?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it's just big and heavy in your arms. And again, it's like 1.5, 2 times the size of a basketball. Pretty big, like a medicine ball, a larger medicine ball. And when you pick it up, something happens with the moonlight. It flickers,
Uh-oh.
shudders, and in the shuddering, you can see apparitions stepping forth from those statues, stepping down onto the floor. One of them, the one that had no helmet and the flowing, the beautiful man with the flowing hair falls about his shoulders, in long black locks, and he draws like this silver sword, not like a rapier, but narrow, deadly, sharp, ghostly, and points it at your chest. And he's smaller. He's like, it's like a child stepping down out of this great statue. And we'll go to Morgan now. And the moonlight was flickering and shuddering, and now it's like it's blazing, and you can see now within the chamber itself, no longer is it this pale, soft moonlight, that kind of moonstone, that pearlescent stone, but it's raw and it's mundane and it's hard. Okay, Morgan, Will, something's changed in the room where you are. No longer do you have those walls of soft moonstone, but now more like, give me a stone. I'm thinking like
Onks.
No, I'm thinking like, yeah, onyx, black,
Mm-hmm.
Cold, and forbidding. And the panels are set up around the room, and the portal blazes that kind of terracotta red. What will you do, Morgan?
I think we got to go through it.
Well, do we know it's set to the right setting?
No, but I don't think there's any way to know. That's the issue.
Well, I'm wondering if, I don't know if you saw my message, but I'm wondering if we need to arrange it by color, by like the rainbow colors, because one panel was orange.
Okay, that's a good idea.
Did you send a message into the chat?
He did. He sent a message to me. Yeah.
Like as a whisper.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah. So I'll use my actions to kind of look through each of them and determine, see if they are different colors. And
then as soon as he figures that out, I'll start arranging them to send the light going through in a rainbow order.
Okay. All right. I like that idea. And as you're starting to do this, there's a shuddering.
Oh, that's not
shuddering
good.
across the tower itself.
That can't be good.
You feel it in your feet, and then you feel it in your jaw.
Why is it always me?
I think we got to get out of here.
Because you stick your hand where it's not supposed to go.
Not anymore.
Because you don't have a hand.
I healed it.
Opie, you're in the chamber. The ghostly warriors are stepping forth from their statue.
And the light has turned from a soft moonlight to almost an artificial white.
Well, it was that
harsh.
flickering of the moonlight, and it was this weird, and then you could see like this like kind of stutter stop as these kind of apparitions sort of crawled forth from the shells of their
statues,
of their containing statues, and but of a much more diminutive size. And when the flickering moonlight stopped and it shines with its radiance into this chamber, it's no longer that soft moonstone. It's more like that beige earthen rock. And you feel a shudder around you that then rises up through your through your feet into your torso and shakes your jaw almost.
Oh, I think the tower's going to do something, and we're going to be stuck in it.
What do you do?
Okay, a question. Does this thing feel like it's glass or breakable in my hands?
It does.
Is it
So-
precious?
You know that there's something inside of it too.
Right. My thought is if I hold it over my head and launch it onto the stone ground at the feet of these little guys, it'll probably break open and whatever's in it will get out. I don't know if that's good or bad, but I know that the little guy with the sharp, pointy glow stick is not good.
Is that your plan to heft it over your head and to fling it down onto the ground in front of these advancing?
Well, first move is to hoist it over my head, and if that makes them pause or do anything, if it makes them pause, then we might talk. But
okay.
if they don't pause or anything, then I'm chucking it, trying to break it.
You heave it up over your head, and the one that had drawn that long, deadly wicked blade and pointed it at your chest takes like a step back. The blade doesn't move, it just shifts back onto his rear leg, and you hear one word: don't. Morgan and 808, what will you do?
Yeah, let's continue to arrange things.
You sorted out the rainbow.
Okay.
Taste a rainbow.
The portal shines this icky brown.
Well, we can't do any worse.
Well, brown is a combination of all colors.
Yep.
No, white is a combination of all colors. Brown is a combination of opposites on the color wheel. So your complementary colors make browns. So
I see, okay.
Plus red, orange plus blue, yellow plus purple. Those will give you browns.
Okay. Well, we can keep trying other things.
You remember from your childhood art class that it was as if you had dumped the colors of the rainbow into a pot and mixed them. You got ick.
You got brown.
Right,
brownish gray water.
Brownish ick.
Right. Yep.
Brownish gray ick.
Which means maybe we don't want to do them in the color of the rainbow.
Yeah.
It was worth a test. It's called a hypothesis.
Yeah. Okay, let's go back and set it back to the original.
The room, the walls around you start to become ghostly, almost glass-like, and you can look out into the field outside of the
tower.
The tower.
Mm-hmm.
That's not good.
You're starting to be able to. It's not like it's like looking through a frosted window almost.
We got to get out of here.
What will you do?
So
Morgan and 808.
Do you want to take time to kind of rearrange things, or should we just go through the brown?
I want to go back to. I think I just want to go back to the blue with the circle because it was the same color as the ball of plasma.
Oh, with just the one item?
Yeah.
One panel?
And match the blue.
Match the blue to the plasma.
That's a good idea.
Okay. Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
That's better than my idea of killing us all by dropping the Annihilation Stone.
Put down the Annihilation Stone.
So as soon as we do that, Morgan will jump through the portal.
And 808 too.
Okay.
I'm not going to join him.
Really? Wow.
That came out of left field.
What happened to don't split the party?
Hey, blame the blobs. I do like how much of this so far has been we've been able to avoid combat. I'm not saying combat's bad, but I do want to avoid dying.
Avoiding dying would be nice.
It's always good.
Morgan, 808. Can you both roll a d6 for me, please?
Ooh.
That's 808 at the top, right?
I got a 4. Morgan got a 2.
Yep.
You can see stepping out of the shadows behind the diminutive warrior.
Hope you're in a
Comes
new
a
room.
hulking shape. Say, wait, what the hell?
What the fuck?
All right. Morgan, you find yourself in a cluttered chamber full of decaying furniture. And it's like a giant rubbish room, like an attic that's been things have just been heaped into there and heaped into there and heaped into there, but winding their way around all this heaps of crap. Somebody's history, somebody's hoarding, somebody's things they could never let go of, are little paths. They kind of swirl around, and in the center of the room, you can see a bronze ladder that climbs from floor to the ceiling. What will you do?
I am going to use my last, I think it's my last, magic sense to see if there's anything magical in the room.
Okay, go ahead, tick it off.
Mm-hmm.
There are two things magical: the ladder, and there's a large wardrobe on the opposite side of the room from where you are, with the ladder in the center.
I go to the wardrobe like any good 14-year-old girl who knows or who's read Narnia.
That's it. We're looking for Mr. Tumnus, baby.
Okay, we'll come back to you. 808, what do you do? Do you know this? Are you aware of this? Do you understand the scene that you've stepped into? Opie holding a big giant sphere above his head, confronted by a diminutive warrior that points a wicked blade at his belly. So he stands.
But he takes a step back.
He's about a yard away.
Do I see 808?
Away. You do. You see him sort of loom up out of the shadows.
Hey, where's Morgan?
I will. So, did you say that this person was ethereal or ghost-like, or was it only when they were?
Yeah, he's like a phantom, an apparition, a ghost.
I'll step forward and loom over this person, trying to be intimidating.
Are you trying to intimidate him?
Yeah.
And when he said, when I hear the word "don't," I stop. By the way, I don't want to break nothing, friend. I just want to get out of here and go home. You know how to get me out of here and go home so I don't break anything? I got 2 friends. Want to come with me?
Okay, I like it.
No one has to get hurt.
Around you, 808, you feel a stirring around you. But you don't see anything moving around you, and it's only this small warrior that stands confronting Opie that's illuminated by the moonlight, and that moonlight just passes through him. Opie, you're holding the sphere above you, and you're starting to speak those words, and what are you doing, Nils?
I was looming over it, the guy.
No, what are you doing in real life?
In real life?
Oh, are you talking about the background noise?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's, I believe, Erica feeding the cat.
Ah.
Is she feeding a live
rocks?
rabbit?
Or rocks? Rabbit or rock? Inquiring minds want to know.
Oh, it was amazing.
He shakes the warrior. The point of his sword comes down. He shakes his head, and he says, "Wake not the beast that stirs within that sphere. Should you wish to leave this place, climb." And he points to the apex of the tower. You know where that opening is there in the ceiling. And he says, "Climb now. You have but moments before you'll be trapped forever in the spirit realm with I and my brothers who stand eternal watch over the oculate."
I have one more friend. How can we get her?
Her way is her own. And we're back to Morgan. You're climbing into the wardrobe, is that right?
Yes.
Hang on, skimming my notes. Sorry.
It's okay.
Unfortunately, you're eaten by a lion. It's
Well,
ironic. It's ironic.
A little ironic. A little ironic. Though Morgan doesn't know why it's ironic.
Now, I haven't started yet, but I did come to a conclusion of what I'm going to paint, what map I'm going to paint. Because I have a big map here that goes with this terrain crate stuff, and I couldn't figure out what I was going to paint on it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to put on it Bilbo's map, which shows
Oh.
Mirkwood and the mountains, and because it's recognizable.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So wish me luck that I can get that painted this weekend.
That'll look great.
Well, thank you. I'm glad you have faith in me.
Well, of course.
Okay.
This really has reminded me a lot of the Courts of Chaos in all the good ways, because that was one of the best adventures I've been in ever.
Oh, you like that one?
Oh my goodness. Part of it was the group. It's just we had such a good click, and it's so rare that Sullins and I actually get to be role-playing characters together.
Yeah, that was fun. That was fun to see, and the epic battle with the doppelgangers at the end was pretty fun. And
yeah,
crushing your dad with the giant version of himself, that was awesome. I'm so mad. But the dice don't lie. I mean, what can you do?
No, that's it.
If they say kill my father's character, kill my father's character.
So you approach the wardrobe, Morgan, and hanging from the handle on the front of the wardrobe is an amulet on a silver chain, fairly large and heavy silver chain, and the amulet itself is like this grinning face, large, pike nose, big, exaggerated smiles, wrinkles around the eyes and brow, beaming at you. What will you do?
I will take it and put it around my neck.
Okay, you do so. And now what?
Now I will open the wardrobe.
So inside, make a perception challenge with 3 boons.
Ooh.
Pat, Debbie, and Daniel.
Lion, the Witch, in the wardrobe. Okay, perception. And 3 boons?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. 27.
Wow.
Well done.
Nice roll. So inside the wardrobe, there there's a row of like moldering fur coats, and then there's another row, and then another row, and then something
Mhm.
past the third row of these old tattered fur coats. What will you do?
Is
I make
it-
sure I've closed the wardrobe door.
Okay.
Oh, it was a mimic. Belts.
And then I keep going back.
Okay.
I sense fir trees covered in snow in your near future.
So do I.
808. And you feel a rocking as you start to climb through the wardrobe.
Mm-hmm.
808. Opie. You're high atop the tower. The little warrior pointing above him. And you can feel the floor beneath you start to rock and sway. I don't know if you've been in a tower or like an office complex when there's an earthquake,
Oh yeah,
but it's pretty disconcerting. And this
yeah.
is the sensation that starts to build slowly around you. What will you do?
I'm going to very carefully set the sphere back on the stand.
Mm-hmm. The motion beneath your feet doesn't subside.
I didn't think so, but I'm moving towards the ladder and saying, "Wish you well, my friends." And we go 808. We're going. Let's go.
He
Morgan's
nods.
smarter than we are. She'll find her way out.
All right, Morgan.
And as we go, I'm gonna look at their little guys as little shimmering forms, and as I follow 808 up the ladder, I'm gonna go, "May the gods bless you," and we'll disappear.
And he gives another shake of his head. Mortal men and their gods. And you step onto the top of the tower and expect to be looking out across, but you're only 4 feet off the ground.
Yeah, it's like the disc we found. Mm-hmm. I'm not surprised.
4 feet off the ground, but the same diameter of the disc that you found.
Mm-hmm.
And when you arrived, that tower was soaring some 120 feet into the sky, like a spire, like an oversized spire from the crossings.
The one we found from the night before that was just like a disc, like 3 feet. No, we just found an impression in the ground. That's right.
Yeah, some like 30 feet across or something like that.
We're looking around and start yelling for Morgan. Morgan! Morgan!
Okay, and you can feel the tower sinking beneath you. Let's go to Morgan. Slowly, like by inches, it's starting to subside even further. Morgan. You arrive here. There's a glowing glass orb sitting in a bronze tripod in the center of this room, lighting up the walls and the ceiling with celestial constellations of stars and planets, kind of circling and orbiting around the center of the room, like a big planetarium. Is that right? That's where you go to see the star shows, right?
Yep. Yep. Went to one in Amsterdam on mushrooms. It was really entertaining.
You and Gib. I trust you guys in Amsterdam.
That's why you go to a smart shop and do your homework.
Morgan will go over to the sphere and try and turn it.
Okay.
Like you would a globe.
Sure.
See if that changes the
And you closed the door of the wardrobe behind you, didn't you?
Yes.
Okay. And you got the bit about the earthquake in the high-rise building?
Yes. Oh, I'm looking for ways to get out. I just don't see any right now.
Okay. So you can see on the archway itself opens into like a black shadowed hall, like running off into the hall. And you go to the glass orb, and it's like there's like a little miniature ball of orange fire blazing in the center of it, and you can see that's the light source that's creating all these projections around the walls and ceilings of this chamber. And you can move it, and it moves just the shifting of the projections, but they're everywhere.
Okay.
Suddenly the swaying like gets really bad. What will you do?
So you said there's a hallway leading out of here?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna
in a darkened hallway.
like
through the faux archway, but it doesn't look faux anymore. It looks like it leads to a passage.
All right. Morgan will begin chanting and cast her light spell, and then run down the hallway.
Okay, take it down. You go running down the hallway. It's long, and the rocking suddenly stops, and you come to the end of the hall, and you're looking into the cluttered chamber where you were before.
Okay, I run back because the cluttered chamber.
Run back to the portal chamber.
I run back to the room.
I'm sorry, the star chamber.
Yes.
The planetarium chamber. Okay, you're back in the planetarium chamber. What will you do?
I'm going to remove the glass orb.
Or
try to.
Yeah, it's easy to move. It's easy to shift or pick up.
Mm-hmm.
And opposite that, the shadowed hallway,
mm-hmm.
You see a staircase running up, and now like same kind of archway, same kind of shadowed chamber, but beyond the archway you can see a stairwell, a staircase leading up. And
can she hear Opie yelling her name?
Yes, make a perception with 3 boons.
Morgan!
Okay.
Oh, good. Oh, good.
Yeah.
I was ready to burn a fortune point for you.
Or more boons.
Fuck yeah.
All right. Yeah, you can hear your friend. You can hear Opie calling for you, but he sounds far away. What do you do, Morgan? Opie 808. The tower is slowly slipping beneath the surface of the earth. There's maybe only 6 inches now left before it's flush with the terra firma. What will you do, Opie? What will you do, 808?
Oh my God! I have nothing. I have no spells. I have nothing that will do anything.
And you can look down into the sunroof, the opening. What do they call it? The oculus in the
right. Well,
yep.
Is that what we came? Apparently, is that what we came?
Came up out of, right?
Can I see Morgan or throw a rope down?
You don't see her yet.
I'm throwing a rope with a grapple because it's got weight, and I'm yelling, "Morgan, go up, top of the tower, find the rope."
Back to you. You're at the stairway. You climb.
And 808's grabbing the other end so we can yank hard.
Yeah, I'm running up the stairs.
Okay. You burst into the chamber that's lit by moonlight, and above you in the ceiling you can see an oculus with the moonlight shining through, and your friend standing above it, looking down, shadowy. And in the center of the room is that sphere on the five-legged pedestal, and around the room are these statues or ornate figures. Sorry, exquisitely carved figures and ornately decorated with arms and armor. Make a will challenge with -1
One bane. Okay. Nope.
And it's the sphere. Something about it catches your eye. What is that? That gives you that moment of pause where you stop your flight.
It's my mother's voice.
Oh, you can hear it.
Crap. I know what the sphere
Whispering
is.
to you, calling to you from the shadows, the swirling blue shadows within the sphere itself. You can see your friends above you getting further away. It's like the room is growing taller. What will you do, Morgan?
Is the ladder visible that we climbed?
There is a ladder of sorts. Yeah. Mm-hmm. There is a ladder. And you also have your rope down, but now you can see it's just dangling in the air. It's like the floor is now further than your rope is.
Damn.
And there's just a mere inch before the tower hits terra firma. Morgan, what will you do?
Morgan, that little bit of Rodolfo will try and break the hold Morgan's mother's voice has over her.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's like you sort of shake that you sort of clear your mind. Was that it couldn't be your mother? How could it be? What will you do, Morgan?
So the rope, can I see the rope?
It's high above you, 20 feet above you. There is like kind of a weird ladder kind of thing that's running up towards the Oculus.
I will try and climb the ladder.
Give me an agility challenge straight. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's probably because you're so small, or maybe
and
because
scared.
But it's like you put one hand on a rung, and it's like you've like climbed 3, and you come toppling up out of the Oculus into the arms of your companions as the tower goes flush with the earth, and you're standing on ground. There's no tower beneath you any longer.
You just hear Morgan muttering under her breath, "Mom, Mom." Just over and over again.
And what's the one memory that Morgan has of her mother? That only one.
The only memory she has is of her mother looking on at her with love in her eyes, even as Morgan, who was as a child possessed by a demon, moves towards her to rip her to pieces while being controlled by the demon.
Okay. Fortune point for Morgan. All right, guys. Great.
I can just see us. We get out. We're just sort of just numb, and 808 is just sort of scanning around, keeping an eye on things, while the two humans are just sort of sitting there shaking a little bit, like getting their breath, kind of making sure we're back in our reality.
So you have some choices from where you are right now. You could go on to the village of Crucible, or you could go back to Crossings.
Wasn't our original
you
mission
could
to get to
also,
Crucible?
it was to investigate the disappearance of the miller.
Okay, so that was it. That was the what and I thought we were doing that on the way to Crucible.
No, that was why we got called out here.
Right. You were asked to go to Crucible to investigate the disappearance of the miller.
Okay.
And as you were making your way there, you struck off the main road to the farmer's hamlet.
And the farmer was a friend of 808's.
That's where you encountered, yes, a friend of the cog, as they like to be known.
Right.
And
then we encountered the disc crushed into the ground.
Yes, you had found the disc crushed into the ground when you were traveling the road from Crossings to Crucible, and it had given you moments of pause as you sort of stopped and investigated that crushed disc in the ground, and then you struck off towards the hamlet and met with the farmer's wife and his two boys. 808 received a gift, and then you were set upon that full moon by that bovine? No, what's an equine?
No, it was
equine man.
Yeah, it was like a horse. It was like a horseatar.
Yes, right. It was like a backwards centaur.
It was a Torsen.
That's right, because it had human leg. No, it had.
Yeah, it had a human bottom half that was nude, and then an equine top half
that had hands, though.
Like kind of like hoofy hands.
Hoofy hands, yeah, because they were grasping the farmer's dead wife.
Yeah, it had been like thrown up over its shoulder or something.
Yeah, we were a little mad. We took that fucker down.
You did.
And then we went in the tower.
And then you went in the tower, which had appeared under the light of the rising full moon.
Not our wisest choice, but.
And then you had many great adventures of separation and anxiety. Escaped with your lives by the skin of your teeth. And now find yourself wondering which way you will go, back to Crossings or on to Crucible.
Well, I think we should go on to Crucible because we did have a mission to check out the miller, though we probably have a pretty good idea what happened to him now. I'd be willing to bet it's something similar to what happened to the farmer and his family here. I'm
using the farmer and miller synonymously.
Oh, okay. So we did complete our mission. We found out. Is there anybody in Crucible we were supposed to meet or report to, or will those two babbling sons go out back and report what they saw?
Yeah, the sons are the ones that originally came to Crossings to seek help from Dreen and the council because they'd been given deed and title to this hamlet, a upstanding family in the city of Crossings. And when the time of troubles, when the skinwalkers stalked the fields and the ebony men terrorized the high roads, many steadings were lost.
Sure, a lot of people were killed, places uninhabited.
But those creatures had been driven before by an encroaching army.
Oh, that's right.
That marched under the banner of a new god.
Right.
And that army hadn't turned its attention, I suppose you could say, on Crossings per se, but you left under the threat of that looming force.
Well, we were on a mission while it was coming in. The rest of our team's probably still back there.
Right. Mm-hmm. And of note is that Crossings is an old god stronghold. One of the last left, have been left standing in the time of the Troubles, partly because of its strong defensive position with the river at its back. You know, deep in the old god hinterlands. You know, not easily assailed.
Yeah, it goes. Yeah, it's older than the old gods. Those ley lines were there before we even thought of the old gods.
Right, and they spring up. They almost like sprout out from those spires.
Mm-hmm. Those spires are landing at intersections.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
that's making Opie nervous. It's like acupuncture, guys. The needles are going in. It's doing. I think it's doing damage to us. I think it's doing magical damage to the planet. It's leaving those big discs in the ground. I don't think it's good.
I like that. That's a very cool conclusion to draw or to jump to.
Well, all I know is bad things are happening and these things are coming along, and I think we're being invaded. And I don't mean by the New God Army. I mean, I think there's something coming from the other worlds, and I think something inside that sphere that looked back at me. I think that was the Shadow. I think that was the Shadow Lord.
The Demon Lord.
Demon Lord. Sorry.
Yeah.
808. Will you go into Crossings, or will you? Sorry, will you go into Crucible, or will you return to Crossings?
Did we lose Nils? Is he on mute?
Sorry, somehow I guess I was talking to Erica and was on mute. I will go into Crossing. I'm sorry, go into Crucible.
Oh, go on to Crucible.
Yes.
So you encourage your fellows to go with you to Crucible.
Well, yeah, yes. We won't abandon him.
Okay.
Because obviously the my contact with that was there had further contacts in Crucible that I want to make to deliver the prize relics, holy relics of the Cog God to the people there, and spread the Cog God's lubrication throughout the land.
Lubrication.
I think I'm going to need to use an action to do my self-healing so that when we heal tonight, if we find a nice place to stay, then I will be back at max.
Well, sure. I have healing magic.
So you guys do you do make your way down to Crucible, and the sun's starting to rise. It's not dawn yet, but it's starting to. It's that funny time when the night sky starts to light up in preparation for the dawning of a new day. And you come onto Crucible, and it's very much like Last Hope. You know, a ramshackle gathering of cottages and small houses, a large public hall, and no people stirring about. What will you do, Morgan?
Morgan needs to take time to heal herself.
Okay.
Yeah, before you run into a bunch of zombie villagers, you should probably worry about things like that.
Zombie villagers.
And she is also looking for a place to rest her head, as she's had kind of an emotional day.
Yeah, okay. To put it mildly. Yeah.
So there is a public house, and you're sure that there could be lodging to be had in that place?
Maybe some hot stew.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be back in a second.
Yeah, at least tea. They've got to at least have some hot tea. Yeah, I'm with Morgan. We need to find a place to rest our heads.
Okay.
And if there is a elder of the village or whatever, someone to talk to about what we saw. And to stay the heck away from those things.
Okay, so you push your way into the public house, and it's dark, and the tenants are clearly asleep. The door's not barred. You make easy entry into the common hall. You can see one man sort of passed out on a table. Opie, make a perception challenge. Straight.
I bet I'm not surprised. That is, there it is. Hold on. Oh yeah.
And down beside, between the table leg, you can see like the slithering of a serpent. What will you do?
Draw my sword and say, guys, there's a snake in here. Was it when I saw the slithering of a serpent? Was like a huge serpent, like like we've had to deal with in these dungeons, or like a rattlesnake moving around?
No, like python, large.
Something big. Yeah. Okay. We have a big snake.
Oh, Morgan, what will you do?
Morgan hates snakes. After that stupid poisonous snake, she.
Yeah. I don't blame her.
She actually, what she does is she takes out the jar and begins speaking in partial tongue.
Oh. And it works because you've already spoken it.
Mm-hmm.
The jar speaks parcel tongue.
Right.
And the man that's sitting there, kind of stirs, looks up, and he's got like this big floppy hat, and he's like, "Wow, I need a drink." Clunk. It flops back down, and you see the snake beneath the table sort of flop and then goes still.
I think it's a familiar.
I think it is a familiar.
Is 808 back with us?
Yes.
What will you do?
I think we should get the guy a drink.
If I could order a drink, I would.
Well, this is the stuff that Opie's good at. So our bar's empty other than this guy, right?
It is, right. I mean, that the barkeep wouldn't be far. He'd live here somewhere on the premises.
Yeah, I know how these things work. Yeah, this is how Opie operates. Remember how he meets people and operates on the edges of blah 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 blah. So he's going to take out some coppers and leave them there on the bar, and he's going to reach over and get a jug of ale or beer or whatever is sitting there. Yeah, and go fill up the guy's mug.
He said, "Oh, God bless you. You're a saint. The saint, I say." And he just passes out again, but this time kind of flops backwards. And then, the snake that's under the table sort of does the same thing. It sort of lifts up and flops backwards.
They're
it's
definitely
dark
connected.
And gloomy in here. The fella is clearly drunk, pretty much passed out, trying to wake up to fill his cups again, but just can't bring himself to at this early hour.
I'm going to see if I can't find my companion and I some food, and again leave money for the barkeep or whoever comes out.
So you start to kind of poke around into the kitchen.
Yeah. I've worked these places.
808, what are you doing?
I am. I'm watching out the front of the building, kind of looking for any kind of further activity in the town, looking for the secret cog symbols on somebody's house kind of thing, because obviously there would be.
Okay. The The landscape around the public house is starting to light up with the rays of dawn. Can't quite make out any of those symbols yet. Give me a perception check with the Bane. Morgan, what will you do?
Morgan is she's intrigued by this snake and how it's just copying this guy's movements.
Okay.
I would
she's
say copying. I'd say echoing.
Yeah.
That's what it seems more like.
Yeah. And she is still going to try and speak to it using the jar if possible.
Okay. Are you moving closer, or where are you in the room?
So he's like flopped on a table, right?
He's like kind of like in a table in the middle of the room, you know, sort of had been sprawled out over it. Now it's kind of like flopped back in the chair with his head back and like snoring.
Morgan is
Opie's disappeared into the kitchen somewhere, obviously to rustle up some.
Fry up some eggs, get a loaf of bread or whatever.
Morgan kind of pulls up a chair on kind of like just on the passed out or drunk right near where the snake is, and tries to like talk with the snake.
Okay.
She's probably a few feet from him.
Make a perception challenge with 3 boons.
Ooh. So many boons. Hopefully it helps.
Let's see, 808.
Barely.
Oh, you did make it. You barely make it in the darkness of the common room, and it's as it's starting to kind of brighten up as the sun rises. You see all the tables and all the chairs. There should be like maybe a dozen tables here. You know, a great bench. I mean, a broad farm table, you know, with benches and things like that. Everything's been pushed into the far edge of the room and piled on top of each other, like helter-skelter, willy-nilly, precariously, you know, the table legs, you know, crazily balanced on top of each other to make this huge kind of piling contraption. And you sort of notice that, and as you kind of start to whisper into the parcel tongue through the jar down towards the snake, and you realize, is that his leg? It's not a leg. What is that, a tail? Opie, you're in the kitchen, kind of bustling around, you know, making yourself comfortable, really excited about, you know, the breakfast that you're about to enjoy. And the innkeep comes stumbling through. He's like, "Oh, customers this early? Helping yourself, I see. Well, let me get the fire started." You know, and he sort of wanders over to the hearth and starts, you know, stoking up the coals and the flames.
By the way, for the record, Opie does this in a very respectful manner. He doesn't just go in there. He isn't being rude, but yeah, he's comfortable. But he's you know, if there's something dirty, he's cleaning it. Sure. He's doing it like he knows what he's doing.
He's
like
at home. Like this is like maybe he even grew up in a place like this.
That's right. That's right. He knows this side of the counter.
Right.
And I say
things should be.
I say, "Hey, Ellen." I say, "Good morning, good sir. It was a horrible night. Let me tell you. Sit down, and I'll make you some breakfast for a change."
I haven't had breakfast made for me since my wife made it for me last week.
Hand me that basket of fresh eggs and we'll get started.
Right. So you guys are starting to strike up a great rapport in the kitchen.
This is what Opie does.
Right. And
Morgan's realizing the snake and the guy are connected. They're not separate. They're one thing. Is that what's going on?
yeah.
I'm fucking creeped out.
But you don't know anything about it.
Morgan's more intrigued than
Peter's
He's freaked out about it in terms of an audience participate and in terms of the
Exactly.
audience reading the panels.
It's like, ah!
808, you can see, now the lights, the dawn's kind of breaking, and you can see swirling black shadows, like bolt from two of the houses, kind of on the edge of the, if you could even call this a village.
Mm-hmm.
And these shadows sort of scatter towards the wood line. What will you do?
I'll walk over to the kitchen and tell Opie it's time to go.
Okay. And we'll fade to black there. I think that's a good stopping point. Good session, guys. Everybody, including your characters that aren't present now, will level up.
Okay.
I think it's 5th level now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And is that the racial benefit, or is that
No,
a
that
new
was
thing?
4th.
This is
No.
It's the expert.
novice path benefit.
This is the initial
Yeah, the novice path.
novice path. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me figure out what page that is.
This is where you get the second attack.
It's about page 55.
God, 53.
Well, I've been looking at it for the last 15 minutes, so
Okay. Oh,
I've already leveled.
nice.
Good. Well, what's changed about 808 through this experience?
Well, he gets more warrior-y. He gets a benefit in defense and in health, and he now has the ability called combat expertise, which says when you use an action to attack with a weapon, you either deal an extra D6 damage with your attack, or make another attack with against a different target at any point before the end of your turn.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so that's interesting. So if you're going slow and you had a chance to, do your 2 actions like moving and attacking, then you could make that second attack anywhere along your move. It sounds like that's kind of how I'm hearing it.
And there doesn't seem to be any kind of limit on it. So it seems like that's every attack that you make.
Mm-hmm. It does sound like that, doesn't it?
Level 5 is a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Our warriors actually start getting to do more than one thing.
Yeah.
Well, let's do the characters that are present right now. What's new and different about Morgan? Because I'm sure she also has plotted her career advancement for the next 3 generations.
Actually, 4
Bene
or 5.
Gesserit. She's a Bene Gesserit in training. That's what Morgan is.
She
Mhm.
is. She is. She kicks some ass.
Okay. So she gets a new spell, and that new spell is, where did I put it?
It's the spell of misplacement.
Well, I wouldn't go. That's not too far off. Oh, that's right. Ah, yes. This is her first 3rd level spell because she gets +1 power.
Sweet.
+1 power. Nice.
Yes. Now I need to do. I have it written down. Be right back.
Opie, what's changed about you?
Well, I got a little healthier, which is always nice. And let's see. I get dirty tricks, which is my attacks deal 1d6 extra damage when I make the attack roll with a boon, which I can do once per round using trickery.
Mm.
But now I have Rogue Cunning, which allows me to use trickery twice per round.
Mm.
So then
so when
now
you get
in the
that bonus second
follow-up,
attack, when you get that bonus
yes.
second attack, you can do those things twice.
Yeah, and how cool is that? Or if I had to do two things in one round that required boons required characteristic rolls, I could apply the boons to that.
Yeah, with the trickery. I'm going to start asking for your, how is that trickery manifesting itself in
So
the action
cool.
that you're taking? So, give that some thought. You don't need to.
Oh,
And if you can't,
it's always to be situational too.
right, it'll always be very situational. But maybe dirty tricks. That's pretty easy. In the fight to figure out what's the dirty trick that you're pulling. But I think the trickery part might be a little more interesting about how you're picking up that extra boon for whatever it is you're rolling on. But I love it. I think it's
I think things like not like dirty tricks, but certainly it's like being a master of the feint.
right.
Like or appearing wounded, so the opponent's going for his left leg's hurt, and as he goes to go for my left leg, I get him in the ear.
Right. Which are all, I think those are all great examples or illustrations about and a feint is really a dirty trick. I mean, it's like it's just according to Sullins, it's just a little more stylized.
Yeah, well, I've seen him do it. It's pretty impressive. He's fast.
Let's see. Shall we look back to the characters that are still at crossings?
Yeah, I haven't typed all this stuff into my character yet, but
you have
I just added the health just now.
For Ichabod.
Ooh, for Ichabod.
Oh, I'm sorry. While you think about Ichabod, I want to go to Gideon for a moment.
Mm-hmm. He also gets a new PowerPoint, which gives him a 3rd level spell. Yeah. The Wrath of God. Lightning strikes. I'm sorry?
He said, oh my good Lord.
Yeah.
Literally.
Actually, what was her name? I can't remember. The new god is actually a Joan of Arc, like a legend, and it's like a female god.
It's Astra, anyway. Right?
Astra, that's it. I was going to say Ariel. I knew that wasn't it.
I like Ariel better.
Ariel. Yeah, it should be Ariel of Angle. See.
There you go. So the Wrath of God. The target is a point on the ground within the medium distance. Lightning strikes, causing 2d6 plus 2 damage to each creature within a d6 yards. So it's basically an area attack, and then they can make a agility save. If they fail, they're dazed for a round. If they succeed, they take half damage.
Wow! I smite you. How many times can you cast that between
once?
Long rests once. So. And what has Gideon been doing in crossings while his companions have been away?
Well, he has chosen his, now that he's as part of his 5th level priest achievement, he has committed himself to a certain sect within the New Gods temple. There's a specific one I've already picked out. I can't remember which one it was, but I think it was the Protectors of the Faith or something like that. That was the ones I think I mentioned that they all use hammers because that was, I think, what the Astrid originally used or something like that.
Yeah, and these Protectors of the Faith, they operate in secret within crossings because they are, it's an old god stronghold, and they're all tradesmen, craftsmen, laborers that swing the hammer. What's changed about crossings, but not for the better?
It's a more fortified.
Sorry, not Ichabod. Gideon. We'll come to Ichabod in just a moment.
No worries.
Okay.
I'm having trouble. It's not letting me edit my sheet at all.
Let me check and see if you have lost permissions or something. Are you looking at Ichabod's sheet?
Yeah, I am right now. But I've got it off screen so it doesn't interfere with the sharing.
Oh, that's you don't need to worry about that right now.
Okay, let me open it within and see if that makes a difference.
Looks like I can edit it. Let me make sure you have privileges.
Okay, I'm trying to increase my defense to 16. It's not letting me do that. I can put the cursor on it, but it won't.
Hang on, I'll help.
Have you clicked the edit pencil icon?
Right.
Oh no, that shouldn't matter for that.
Let's try it. So that should be highlighted red, right?
Yeah, I think so. And you're trying to change your what to 16?
Damage, defense, excuse me. Yeah, it's not letting me do nothing. Let me click the pencil off and see if that makes a difference. Nope. Weird, because I just did OP.
Where are you picking up the defense from? A modifier on the
Level 5 expert warrior, characteristic defense +1, health +5.
Okay. Health +5. Let's do your health +5. Let's see what happens. Did you already do that? That's why you're 28.
I was 28. Now I'm 35. I mean, I'm 35. That'd be nice. I'm 32. 33. Excuse me.
Have you at 312 now? 32.
+28 +5.
33, right?
Yeah. Whoop. I like 333. Roll of 6 equals bad stuff. Will it let you affect my defense?
I was trying to fiddle with it, but I wasn't seeing it.
Weird. Not to be a whiner, but I want my fucking defense.
Changing your agility to see if that did anything.
It did. It took it to defense 16.
Did it?
So,
It didn't change on my side.
yeah, as soon as you clicked it up to agility 12, it went to defense 16. There it is.
Let's just do that.
That's fine. I would say maybe it should just be in the rule book. It should be agility +1, and then that takes care of the defense.
Right.
And maybe defense is something you can't affect independently without buying things or affecting
armor.
a stat.
Right.
Yeah,
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So I think that that's how I'll rule it right now, just to make it simple on the character sheet.
Thank you.
Sorry, Gideon, back to you. What's changed about crossings and not for the better?
Okay, so let me read. I found let me read you from the sect description. Hammers of Justice. The Hammers of Justice arose from Astrid's first 8 disciples, companions who traveled with her and protected her. The descendants of those disciples believed that the survival of the cult would require strength of arms and steadfast resolve against all other faiths. Mm-hmm. Members of the order have sworn vows never to have used edged weapons, in the memory of Astrid rebuking one of her disciples for severing the hand from the priest of an order of light who had assaulted the prophet. Mm-hmm. So the reason he's chosen this is because there's a pogrom against the new god in the city, and so it's driven him into this order to help protect those people that are the righteous and correct adherents of the new god and in the city, and trying to
and
protect.
There's been a program against the cult.
Yeah, at
least a social shunning. That's what was going on when we got here.
Well, it's a little more like a program in the traditional sense. You know, mm-hmm. People that
line them up and kill them.
Yeah. Yeesh. So
they're thinking that they don't know what this new army is that's coming, and they're worried that it's the new gods, and so they're trying to like take it out on the people that are local.
You know, probably not a good idea if there's a new army coming to take it out on them,
Maybe they're
because
spies.
no,
yes.
no, because when those guys show up, they're going to take vengeance. So knock it off. Ichabod has a new religion to preach.
Yep, and we'll get to Ichabod in one moment.
You were talking Gideon.
Gideon. I was talking Gideon. Roll 2d6, Gideon.
That's either really good or really bad.
What'd you get?
11.
11.
That's
So
not even funny.
There are 11 of the cultists for this. What is the prophets of the protectors of the faith?
The Hammers of Justice.
Yeah. Oh, the Hammers of Justice.
If I had a hammer.
Where before there had been 33.
Mm-hmm.
Hammers of Justice.
I'd hammer out justice all over this land.
Okay. And Will, what's changed about you?
Will.
And how has it come to pass, I guess?
Will has, you've noticed that as he's been training, he's kind of been able to see with his rapier, he's got a quick shot in, and then all of a sudden, before you realize that he's stabbed again, and then he does it again and again, and you realize that he seems to be able to attack in a faster span than before.
Darting reflexes almost.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Almost an enhancement of the quick speed and alertness he already had before.
Okay.
And basically that's his combat expertise allowing him to
similar to 808s, right?
Right. Now he can attack twice per round.
Okay.
Very nice.
Cool.
And he's gotten a little bit stockier.
Okay. And Will, in what ways has the encroaching army threatened crossings?
The encroaching army has actually sent heralds ahead to the crossings to alert the crossings of the presence of a great champion of the new god who comes to bring the city out of the darkness and into the light.
Okay.
Oh, you had to go there.
And Will being a member of the
he could have been here to unify. He could have been here to unify the faiths. Crap. Now I got to do it.
And so that has definitely set the people of Crossings on edge.
Okay.
Yeah, you think?
Kill it with fire.
To the rounding up of the Cult of the New God folks.
I'm sorry, what was about the rounding up?
Just that's part of the reason that the changes that Gideon has seen have been taking place.
Okay. And finally, Ichabod, what's changed about you?
Well, as we figured out now, he's got a better defense and a little better agility, better health. But because of this army approaching, and just because it's the nature of militias and all able-bodied men who are already fighting zombies are assembled into militias, I've been training. I've been training a great deal. So when I use inaction to attack with a weapon, I can either deal an extra d6 of damage with that attack or make another attack against a different target at any point before the end of my turn.
Oh, the combat prowess. All of you guys are geared up for them on the martial side.
We know there's an army coming in, man.
808.
I just read what they give me.
I just take what they got. I mean, what do you want?
There were no choices in this one.
Oh, just that was it, huh? Combat prowess for level 5 warrior. Okay.
Yeah, but I think the +5 health is pretty sweet.
I mean, I think having a second attack is huge.
Yeah, the possibility either doing more damage or a second attack, and that again also has got some wonderful narrative possibilities to it. And I may sit here and try and figure out how to type all that into my character, and you can tell me if that's what I was doing last week, by the way, after the game.
I noticed that when I came in, I looked at the chat. I was like, oh, it looks like Peter was figuring out his character sheet.
Yeah, because when I rolled attacks with Opie and then made a 20+, it wasn't showing in the chat 20+ beats defense 5/5, get this.
Right.
And so I was trying to figure out, how did I do that?
And it looks like you did figure it out.
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
Okay, well, Ichabod, what unexpected gift does the general of the New Gods army bear for the crossings?
He actually does bring an olive branch, and he brings word that this is not an invading army. This is a gathering army, because the forces it fights are far greater than arguments about the gods.
Okay.
So Ichabod's been right all the fucking time.
Okay.
That's what happens when you give us some of the narrative.
That's fine. I mean, I think I love the way it goes in directions that I had not expected. And then what was the champion was?
Champion of the New Gods is the one who's here to unify us, or at least to say, "Hey, I got bigger things to fight." Well, so I don't know if he's here to unify us or not.
I can't remember what Will had said about the champion of the New Gods. I had written it down here that he was like, it was almost as if it were like an implied threat.
Well, yeah, they're going to say
right. The champion was bringing the New Gods.
Yeah, he's here to bring the crossings to the light.
Bring the crossings.
Sure.
To the light.
That means no more ebony men, no more skin thieves. It means maybe no more towers, because they probably have encountered some of this too. That's how I'm reading it. Maybe that's all propaganda and they don't believe in what's the word, bipartisan legislation.
Yeah, so the champion of the New Gods and the general are of two very different dispositions. You know, the general is mature and pragmatic and has fought wars and recognizes a true enemy when he sees one. And the champion is just kind of this fanatical firebrand that can really whip up the troops and under the banner of faith.
Oh, that's always good.
All right. Well, how about hits or misses tonight? Does anybody want to start?
Oh, that's what I didn't do. I didn't mention what Morgan's new spell was.
Oh, what is that? I know you were flipping around trying to find it.
Yeah, I found it. So the spell she got after spending so much time in the tower and seeing how the Oculus brought the moonlight in and spending time with the orb that was in the planetarium, she's has found that she can actually call down the stars themselves to attack her foes.
Oh.
Very nice.
Like a meteor shower, kind of?
Starfall is the name of the spell.
Starfall. Cool. I like the tying back to the planetarium for that. Very cool.
And she can now counterspell people.
Oh, that's almost like a spell duel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can take a fortune point for the linkage back to
Cool. Thank you.
back to the planetarium. Why don't you start, Ethan? Hits or misses for tonight?
I really enjoyed the wardrobe scene. Just
right.
think Narnia all over again.
And about the amulet, it provides your perception checks with your perception challenges with 3 boons, as we've kind of established.
Okay. Yeah.
And your will checks with -1.
Okay.
Bane.
Kind of what I was guessing.
Yeah. So the hit for you tonight was the wardrobe and the echo to Narnia. Okay. How about did you have a miss?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Maybe just that we didn't get to spend more time in the room with the blue plasma ball actually figuring out just what could happen.
Right. Nils, hits or misses for you?
Again, I think it's been said a couple of times, but I like the jumping around between the rooms and the solving parts, trying to solve the puzzle of each room.
Hey, we're all in this together.
Falling asleep, yeah.
Yeah.
And Mrs. I don't like snake people. I'm not looking forward to next week.
Snakes. Why did it have to be snakes?
Actually, another hit was I like being, taking the thoughts, putting the thought more into kind of more defining. Anyway,
details about detailing the character a little bit, like
what
does he really look like, or how does that work, or
right.
Very cool.
Yeah, I have an idea for of what he might look like, so I might have to put it onto paper.
Cool. Sounds like you have an artist commission just waiting there in the wings, Nils.
I doodle I doodle our little group sometimes.
Any misses for you? I heard a couple of hits, but the snakes.
Just the snake
I heard, the snakes. You're not a fan. Peter, hits or misses?
My miss was that I was late getting on, and I apologize for that.
Oh, like I said, I had beaten you by like 2 or 3 minutes,
so there we go. We're all good. So what an easy miss. Boy, the hit, I was like, God, what did I narrow it down to? And I'm listening to you guys, and I'm like, yeah, that was great. That was great. That was great. I think I'm going to go with the pacing. It just really ran well. It kept me completely focused and interested, and the whole time I was like, crap, how do we deal with this? But at no time did I feel like it was helpless, but definitely like with Nils, I love the moving through rooms and puzzle solving, and
I did like the turning away from you too when you were like presented with the challenge, almost like, why don't you stew on that for a little bit?
yeah, I really like the way you do that. The timing is usually excellent, and usually I'm like, oh, thank goodness, I need to think about this.
Right. It also gives that opportunity to sort of mull it over too, right?
Absolutely.
Well, let's see. For me, I think the miss was not seeing you guys engage with the oculant, the sphere. I thought that could have been interesting, but now it's lost to the ages, or lost to the confined to the coffers of the earth.
Yeah, well, better it than us and it, because that was the other choice.
I figured when I failed my will challenge roll, it was okay. I'm staying with the orb. We're gonna see how this goes.
I was like, if he gets another roll, I'm burning a fortune point, because we're getting him back out of there.
Yeah, and that was that was intentional. You know, you guys could have been trapped beneath your characters could have been trapped in the tower.
I had no doubt of that whatsoever.
Oh yeah.
You know,
I knew
it was some lucky rolls on 808's part to arrive in the same location as
Opie.
You know, so the two of you would
And
probably get out, probably.
That was the exit location.
And not dawdling on Morgan's part.
Yeah, I was like, okay, there's a wardrobe. Up the ladder to the wardrobe. Well, the wardrobe, if it's Narnia, at least I get teleported to some other dimension.
At least I get to go there.
I love the fact there was a wardrobe.
I love that there were fur coats in the wardrobe.
I want to know what your necklace is.
Yeah.
Oh, we've already talked about the effect for the necklace.
Oh,
Yeah.
you just explain? Oh, okay, that's right. That's what that did.
Yep.
Okay, now I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to get at level 6.
All right. Well, while you guys do that, I'm going to shut down the broadcast.
Mm-hmm.
Where the hell is that? I can